There's no shortage of great swordsmen in anime, so making sure that one truly stands out from the crowd can be a difficult task. And to be the best requires a certain finesse, or it can be as simple as just being an absolute badass. So today I've gathered who I think are the most badass anime swordsmen out there, who have proven their insatiable fighting prowess and skill in battle, while also usually completely humiliating their opponents. But first, you like anime, manga? Make sure to subscribe for new videos every 2 to 3 days here at the Anime Culture Corner. Almost 95% of my viewers aren't subbed yet, so let's change that. Enjoy the video. Coming in at 10th, we've got Luo Long from Sword of the Stranger.
What was that?
Being the typical large, blonde foreigner in Japan, it's no surprise that he's an insanely dominant antagonist, and makes one of the most iconic animated sequences in anime history. The one-man army scene that opens this film demonstrates his incredible swordsmanship and thirst for victory on the battlefield. I really wish this movie could have been made into a series, not just because it's great overall, but because it would have given us more time to see Luo Long's badassery, I guess. At number 9, we've got Afro from Afro Samurai. The epitome of the one-man army, the Afro Samurai movies are basically just non-stop massacre by this guy, as more and more enemies come for his head. His use of the surroundings to his advantage and taking out such a wide variety of enemies is awesome. Along with a great soundtrack and super stylish moves, he's one of the most memorable swordsmen in anime. I mean, when's the last time you saw a swordsman with an afro anyway? Number 8 is Mugen from Samurai Champloo. He's very similar to Afro in the way he fights. With his very distinct hip-hop style, Mugen uses his environment in a one-of-a-kind way. His fighting is super dynamic, and his disregard for what anyone thinks of him makes him into one of the coldest swordsmen out there. It stands in stark contrast to the typical samurai technique and has a unique flair to it that hasn't been replicated in many other anime. Number 7 is Akame from Akame ga Kill, the only woman swordsman to make this list, which wasn't on purpose, it's just that they aren't typically made into badass characters.
Why you boring me? I'm right.
But going against the standard, Akame is a cold, ruthless swordsman. Wait, swordswoman? Swordsman? I don't know. Able to clear her mind completely of thought in battle and strike down enemies who can see the future with ease, Akame is one of the carrying factors of this show. Number 6 is Nicolas from Gangsta, a series that often goes under the radar nowadays. What makes Nicolas so badass is that he's deaf. Throughout the show, he's essentially akin to a wild animal whose second nature is pure ruthless battle. He doesn't even have to ignore his enemies' begs for mercy because he literally can't hear them.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you...
Number 5 is our favorite Titan hunter, Levi. I almost forgot about him since I rarely consider the scouts to be swordsmen, but if he has a big blade, he's a swordsman, I suppose. With an uninhibited rage and savagery, it's no question that Levi's battle against the Beast Titan, if the previous seasons didn't already do it for you, shows just how badass he is. No Titan can stand in his way, no matter how powerful it may be. He teeters the line between what it means to be human and what it means to be a monster. Number 4 is Gintoki from Gintama. At the end of the day, Gintama is a comedy, but it has serious arcs interspersed throughout, which makes Gintoki's moments of swordsmanship all the more anticipated. Gintoki is probably the only person on this list who doesn't embrace the violence. Carrying only a wooden sword, fighting isn't his first plan of action, but when he gets going, he stands out not only as an incredible, uninhibited swordsman, but as one of the best shonen protagonists, period. The two sides of his character are what make him so badass, that he has a side of himself that can snap and dominate any enemy. And then he goes to pick his nose in the next scene. God, I love Gintama. Number 3 is Kenpachi from Bleach. Kenpachi is the true representation of a man's soul being his sword. He was born to fight, and it's in his nature to seek battles that can improve himself. He holds a sense of honor on the battlefield and refuses to kill weaklings, which in my opinion makes him even more awesome. He refuses to fight enemies not worth his time, and humiliates them in that sense. He's confident in his abilities and never shows a moment of weakness, and more so than anyone on this list so far, he truly is a beast on the battlefield. But the next person on this list, more than a beast, is a monster. Number 2 is Guts from Berserk. Guts set the standard for the modern anime swordsman. Guts lives in a world where his only enemies are monsters, creatures who far surpass the strength of a normal man. But, of course, Guts is no normal man. His hatred that's always bursting at the seams pushes him to mercilessly crush any apostles in his way, and his fight against all odds as the constant underdog shows just how much of a badass he is. From the unbelievably large sword he wields to his soul being essentially carved by every battle, Guts is awesome. My number 1 is Zoro from One Piece. And yeah, I know I just gave a lot of praise to Guts, but while Zoro maybe isn't as impressive of a character, he definitely has the badassery. We see Zoro's rise from a small-time swordsman to the monster he is now, over the span of 950 episodes at that. But along the way, he's constantly humiliated his enemies and proven his worth as a swordsman. Zoro, like many of the great swordsmen on this list, only seeks to improve himself. He has a constant need to find stronger opponents and win battles by passing his limits. He is the ideal badass. He just happens to be a swordsman as well. As always, this has been the Anime Culture Corner. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for future in-depth show, manga, and character analyses.